GoDaddy.com, where over 1 million small business owners come to every month to read and find information on how to make their business make more money. Today I'm going to talk about getting established domains that are available on GoDaddy Auctions. This is one of the best ways to get a foot up on the rest of everyone else, as opposed to buying a domain name from scratch and starting from zero. In this case, essentially Google values domain names from 0 to 100. If you buy a brand new domain name, you are starting from 0. To basically rank for even low-level words, you need to build that domain authority up to 20 to 30. To rank for medium-level words, it needs to be 40 or 50. And to rank for high-level words, it needs to be in the 60s. The old way of determining where you were in this scale was PageRank, and if you look over at the top right-hand corner, they still have the PageRank bar, but you don't want to just count on that alone. And I'm going to walk you through my process on how I choose domain names for blogs for my clients and for blogs that we manage ourselves. All right, it starts with GoDaddy Auctions. So if you look up here, it's auctions.godaddy.com is how you get there, and you sign up because you're going to want to be able to use all of their tools. Then you go to advanced search and you click it, and in advanced search you're going to check.com and check.org. All the other domain extensions do not rank as well, and typically you're not finding anything of quality on the auctions. A lot of these extra extensions, it might take you 1 out of 100 that you identify that will actually turn out, whereas .com and .org have a hit rate of 30 to 40%. Then you're going to check expiring auctions on the type, and that just means that these are domain names that have reverted back to GoDaddy because the owner failed to pay and it expired, and they're reselling it back to the public. And then you're going to want to keep dashes and digits selected, and you click Run Search. From bids and offers, you click on that to rank them by the most offers at the top, going downward. This is because most domain names that have any value whatsoever, people are bidding on. People like me that are trying to get quality domain names and turn them into traffic builders. So you want to leverage that so you're not just randomly looking through areas. This allows everyone else to do kind of the dirty work for you, and then look through those domain names that are right there that everyone are bidding on. Now, on the watch area right here, I've highlighted some, and so when you set up your own account, as you identify domain names that meet your standards and you're watching them, that allows you to have a little watch box, and you can go into your bidding list right here, click watching, and pull them all up at the same time. Now with GoDaddy, when you click on that button, you're able to see some metrics like the age. Age is important for domains, but it's not the end all. The majority of the domain names that will have a good hit rate will have an age of over 6 to 7 years, but every once in a while you'll find something that's a couple of years old. I wouldn't buy anything that is less than 3 years, and most of the time I focus on things that are over 6 to 7 years, because those more than often will, if they have the domain authority, they're going to pass the rest of the standards that I go through to identify these domain names. So let's start with trillcenter.org. So I will copy that, paste it into a Chrome tab to see what the page rank is. This is where I start, because anything that has a page rank 0, for example, you want to stay away from that. And so I start here to begin my process, and I'm looking for me at least, I'm looking for PageRank 4 and higher before I go to the next step. If it doesn't meet that, then I eliminate that domain name. In this case, this is one that started off as a 6. It's a 0 right now because it forwards to another page, and that's something that you just have to ignore. So you're looking for the first number that comes up. I'll do it one more time so you can see. It starts off as a 6 when it's at the domain name .org, and then it forwards to the host or registrar, and then it goes back to 0 because that one's not the actual extension where you're focusing on. All right, so that one passed. It was a PR6. So I'm going to take the domain name, then I'm going to go to Open Site Explorer. And so that's opensiteexplorer.org is one way to get to this page. And then another is going to moz.com and then going through their links and identifying it. But opensiteexplorer.org is the direct domain name that gets you over here. So here you're going to put in the domain name, and to see what you're looking for: domain authority, page authority, total root domain names, and it gives you an idea of where you stand. So even though it was a PR6, the real domain authority is actually a 43, and it only has 7 root domain names. And it's not necessarily about total. The more root domain names is better, but most importantly, you want to see, you're looking for big names, websites that are valuable with Google. CNN, for example, would be an example. And as we go through here, there's not that many that stand out. UCD.IE is, let's see what that is. It's Dublin University, and university domain names are good, but it's better if it's a .com or .edu. So based upon the fact that it was a PR6 and the domain authority was actually significantly lower, it suggests that maybe some of the links have been removed, and the links that I see, nothing really stands out as for big names. And you can see the page authority for each of these pages right here, and the domain authority. So you have one domain name that has high authority, which is the UCD.IE. And the reason why I don't like this one is because if this domain name decided to remove the link, then the actual trillcenter.org is going to drop in domain authority from 43 probably in the 20s. So it's not going to be worth that much. So at this point, I'm going to eliminate Trill Center, and I'm going to move on to the next domain name. So as I scroll down, I see the next one that I've identified called Stability Pact. And when I look at this, I see that there are people bidding. The bidding is pretty high, $1,500. So chances are, once it goes over $1,000 for bids, it should be a serious domain name. And I see that it's an age of 16 years. So everything looks good there. I'm going to click on this, put it in the browser. It shows it as a 7. And you're not going to find many that are legitimate 7s on auctions. It's very rare. So already this one's standing out. Then I need to confirm the domain authority. And every once in a while, the links that are pointing to a domain name will be towards the www version. So if you don't see any links coming up on Open Site Explorer like this for the non-W, then you type in www, and you can see now the links show up. And the page authority, that just means the page being the home page of www.stabilitypact.org is a 65. and that is right there in the range of what a PR7 is, because of a legitimate PR7, all it has to be is 65 and over, because they round up or round down. So that checks out. It has 371 root domain names, so that's about as good as it gets when it comes to total distribution. And then when I scroll down, I see Wikipedia, NATO, the WHO, which is the Worldwide Health Organization. I just see, you just go down the list. Guardian.com, which is one of the top websites for news in the entire world. They have a DMOS link, which is one thing that a lot of people look for just by themselves. So this one is loaded, and as you can see, compared to the other one, you've got domain authorities over here for these links: 100, 90, 99, 100, page authorities 70, 67, 67. So this is a legitimate domain name at this point, as up to this. Now the next step is, once you identify everything's in line for quality of links, domain authority, then we're going to go to the Wayback Machine and put it in. And what we're looking for here is, has this domain name been purchased by someone else after the company went defunct and violated Google policies? So we look back, you look at the range, and this is obviously when it was at its high point. So you can go to 2007, click on these and see what the page looked like. So you have Stability Pact for Southeastern Europe. So everything looks good here. This is the original site. Now I want to see if it changed any, if it was bought by someone else over time. And we can see it's still the same. As we click going through the dates, it continues to be the Stability Pact. All the way up to, so this was in line all the way up to November, up until this came off of not paying the domain name and going to GoDaddy. This is a great domain name. There's no doubt about it. So no one else has bought it. Everything's going to be functional with Google, and if you're using AdSense, you're not going to have to worry about any bans there. So at this point, everything is checked out, and you'll want to start the bidding process. Then if you purchase the domain name, you'll want to come back to the Wayback Machine, so that when you build out on this domain name, and you'll want to have some content that's related to this original website. So the content that they're talking about here, basically Southeastern Europe and democracy, economy. Then you would create articles and use videos on YouTube to make sure that when someone comes to the home page, they see that it's a similar website, and that ensures that the people that are linking continue to link to you. So if you bought this domain name and threw up a website on how to make money from home, then what's going to happen is, over time, these big websites that are linking to you, someone's going to tell them, hey, this doesn't have to do, someone bought this domain name and they put up something completely different. But if you put up something similar and you build a blog talking about Eastern European issues, you'll be able to maintain those links forever, and also be able to convert the traffic that's coming from those links, from referrals, to blog subscribers, to people that are reading your blog, and so on. So it's got to be congruent, and so you can't do things off topic when you're buying an established domain name. All right, So let's go back to the auction. So at this point, we've identified that this was a legitimate domain name that we're going to purchase. We see that there's 4 days left in the auction and 0 hours. And you want to make sure that if you're bidding on a domain name, that you know exactly when it's going to come to an end. So you log the time and the date and put it on your calendar. Reason for that is you don't want to bid up until the last moment. And this bidding for these domain names is an art form, and it can save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. And so if you were to bid right now for this domain name, it's at $1,500, and you can go in here and see all the bidding history. So the last person actually did it the wrong way. So the previous bid was $935, and someone came in and bid $1,500. They went high. And what happens is, because there's 4 days left, more bidders will come in there and outbid and raise that bid amount higher and higher and higher. If you wait till the last day, and specifically until the last 5 minutes of the auction, and then go in at your highest possible bid that you're willing to pay for it, that is going to get your bid amount and what you end up paying for it at the lowest amount. And it'll also scare people out, because only the serious people are there in the last 5 minutes. And when most of them have stretched at that point and they've probably gone 30 to 40% over what they expected to pay. So if you come in there in the last 5 minutes, and let's say the bid amount was at the $2,000, and you came in and bid $3,500, it trims out the field tremendously. So if you're just bidding against one person as opposed to 3 people, it keeps it from getting escalated to a ridiculous amount. But at the end of the day, you want to go in there with 5 minutes left with your highest amount you're willing to pay, and basically turn it off, because you don't want to get dragged into a bidding war. Because you value the domain name, what it's worth to you, how much money you think you can make off of this over the next 3 years, and then go from there. So in this case, stabilitypack.org for me would have a value probably around $4,300 based upon the way I value domain names. Everyone values them their own specific way, and for me, it's based upon the domain authority, the amount of quality links coming in, the topic that it's on, and putting those all together, I'm able to say this is what I'm willing to pay for it, because I know in my history in creating blogs what it takes to get it to the point to get a return on that investment. All right. Now, one other thing that I want to talk about is, if you are trying to get it for a specific topic, you still want to kind of go down the advanced search range with the same metrics, with the bids being highest to lowest, and just look down and scroll through here and looking down at the domain names one at a time to try to identify either something that is related with a keyword to what you're trying to do, or finding something that is a generic term that you can use. So for example, lavs.com is kind of generic. You can, no matter what you're writing about, you could go with that domain name. And as you go down and you see the different terms, share web, I mean that's pretty generic. Bankster, you can obviously banking, finance, that would be something that's directly related to that. And so you'd still want to review going down to about the 10 bid point, because after 10 bids, there's not going to be much quality. So in this case, if you're holding out to try to find a domain name that's on a specific topic, you'd want to just log in on a daily basis and review all the domain names down to people that are bidding on them at least 10 times, and then repeat that process over and over until you identify the domain name that fits for you. And then once you get it, then you go through the process that I went through before. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial about how to identify a domain name through GoDaddy Auctions that can be used to start from a 40 or 50 domain authority as opposed to starting from 0. And I hope you've enjoyed the process.